And hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's halftime show here on the Cyclone Fanatic social media feeds and Cyclone Fanatic YouTube. My name is Chris Williams. I'm joined tonight by Brent Blum as Iowa State trails Mississippi State 44-28 in the Big 12 SEC Challenge. Blum, this is almost exactly what I kind of expected to see, unfortunately, tonight. You saw Iowa State come out last week, or earlier this week on Monday night against Oklahoma State with a lot of – I thought that was the hardest that they've played all year. I was concerned about bringing that type of emotion and energy to today's game on the road, and looks to be the case. It's 44-28, Iowa State getting killed on the glass. 9 offensive rebounds for Mississippi State stands out to me. 16 points for the Bulldogs off of 10 turnovers for the Cyclones. And I just, being what Iowa State is being dealt with the COVID situation as well, I have a bad feeling this one will probably get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, and the thing is, the energy may be not the same as Monday. I didn't think it was horrible. They're just so limited right now. And you look at percentages, Iowa State shoots 42%, which is more than fine. But again, you look deeper into the stats, and Mississippi State had 6 layups and a dunk. Iowa State had 1. Essentially, everything Iowa State is getting is a lot more difficult than what Mississippi State is getting. And you continue to grind on offense with not having much of a barrier on the other end. This is what happens. 42% to 46% is not all that different. You make 3 threes to their 4. They shoot a couple more free throws than you do. And Chris, what really hampered Iowa State is, and I love officials, but when you get a really tightly called game, which this one is, it is to Iowa State's disadvantage right now because they just cannot afford to get guys in foul trouble. And again, Condit gets 2 fouls in the first 5 minutes, and you're left with Dudley Blackwell and Dubar as your post players against 7-footers. And this, you could say there's no defense. Well, when you're 6'5" and you're trying to defend a 6'11" guy, there's only so much you can do. And Iowa State's left in this zone defense, which they just don't do much, but they've been forced into it, and this is the result. And it's like schematically, I'm not sure what else you can do. You're getting a lot of long twos, and you're making some of them. It's nice to see Jalen Coleman-Lands come back and make an impact. Harris made a couple, but again, you're just so limited right now with the roster and everything else with Iowa State basketball that I don't even think Iowa State played that poorly, and yet you're down 16, and that's just what it is right now.
Yeah, as far as the defense goes, I actually thought that on the first round of shots for Mississippi State, Iowa State hasn't really been that bad. They've been up on them, but man, it's just, what is the 9 offensive rebounds for 10 second chance 10 second chance points for the Bulldogs. You just have no chance. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, you can't do that and then can't turn the ball over 10 times then. That's the one thing Iowa State did okay on Monday night is they didn't turn the ball over.
And they forced turnovers too.
Right. And now they're not doing that either.
They had that energy. Their hands aren't active tonight is what I'm
I think Mississippi State's guards have been good. They are really good guards. Stewart and Molinar are both very talented guards. They both will probably get a shot at the NBA when they're older. They're young guys. But again, you're just so small and so limited that there's only so much you can do. And the offense, a good comment I think by Kyle. It's just it's hard to run Iowa State's offense when you got guys going in different places they haven't played before. Like some of these guys are playing brand new positions, and it's really kind of a one-on-one ISO ball, and you hope that Harris or Coleman-Lands or Bolton makes a jump shot. And I think that's been a criticism, a fair one for this team all year, even with the full rosters. There's not a whole lot of continuity on the offensive end, and you're not getting offensive rebounds. So again, everything is just a lot more difficult than it is for Mississippi State, and that's how you end up down 16 at halftime.
Not a lot of fun. This just isn't.
No, it's not fun. I would agree.
You know what the big takeaway I had at one point, and this is always like when that things have gotten really bad. It was like where you get excited for a time when your team scores because it seems like it's so rare. You know what I mean? A jerk there, but they got to a point where I'm like, well, they hit 3 points tonight. I was doing the math in my head, and that's it's just no fun, and they're probably not having any fun. Like I this is where I've been very complimentary of the Big 12, and we have a lot of to be thankful for with their COVID stuff. But I just like this team isn't very good full. Like, and then you
take 3 starters.
Like, I don't know if they should even be playing right now. But it's not an excuse. I mean, they're going to get run. I don't think that it was a full run. They'd probably win today, anyways. It's difficult to watch.
Yeah, and you feel for Prohm in that context. Like if you're gonna have a disappointing and frustrating season, at least you want your full complement of players to say, well, what if I had these guys? And he doesn't. Yeah. And so this is just tough. It's difficult, and it's no fun for them either. I did say one positive, Chris. I think Jaden Walker's giving you something the last week.
I agree with you there. I'm glad you pointed that out. He's going to be a player.
He belongs at this level, which is great. And again, he had a pretty significant knee injury late in his senior season, so he's still not quite 100%, but you can see, he's a guy that can help in the future. I mean, he probably should not be playing 30 minutes a game right now, but you can see the impressive physicality he has, the size at 6'5", made another 3 tonight. So I liked what I've seen out of Walker. They're just not enough. I mean, Mississippi State's a good solid Power 5 program. They just have more guys right now, COVID notwithstanding, and here we are.
Real quick, let's look at the Big 12 scoreboard. Kansas, man, what's going on with Kansas? Down 14 at Tennessee right now at halftime. Man, this is unlike anything we've seen from them in a long time.
Yeah, they're not as good, and then I think Tennessee's a top 10 program, and so and I haven't watched much at all of that game. I kind of had the picture-in-picture going for a little bit, but that's not extremely surprising. I just think Baylor is so much better than everybody in the Big 12 right now that it's weird to think Kansas is the 4th best team, and I think that's probably appropriate for them. But Big 12 is so loaded. Kansas, I still think belongs in the top 20. But again, when they can't shoot the ball, they don't have the same ability to throw it into Azubuike and get easy buckets. And it's kind of that Iowa State thing. Same with Iowa State. When you don't have a big man presence, you're forced to take a bunch of jump shots. If you're not making those, that's what happens is you get down early. And I'm just looking at the Kansas stats, 7 of 26 from the field and 1 of 12 from 3. There you go. Like it's the basketball at the end of the day is a pretty simple game. You got to put the ball in the basket.
Other scores around the league, Baylor, as you mentioned, continues to flex its muscles. They killed
so
Auburn today.
Yep.
Yeah, they could win the national title good.
I think if you give me $10, I mean, it's them and Gonzaga. I mean, it really is. I would take those two over the field and not think twice about it right now.
I would do the same thing. Really nice win for Lon Kruger in Oklahoma over my man Nate Oates in Alabama. Oklahoma down 2 starters and outlast Bama 66-61. That's a good win for the league. Texas Tech won at LSU 76-71. Bob Huggins in West Virginia lost to Florida 85-80. TCU gave Missouri everything it wanted. Number 12 Missouri. That was a really good game, 102-98. And then Kansas State. Kansas State did what I was kind of just praying Iowa State could do here tonight, and that's hang with A&M and just kind of junk up the game. They only lost by 7, 68-61. Oklahoma State, the game before Iowa State's on television, won 81-77. They got Cade Cunningham back. But any other thoughts on today, Blum?
No, I mean Oklahoma is really impressive. I did not expect this, but Lon Kruger, I know your love for the man. I think he's super underrated. I mean, what he's done with that roster is impressive, and I think I was very impressed with that win. They just play really hard. I mean, they've gotten a lot better on the defensive end, but I'm just so blown away by Baylor. They just don't have a weakness. They have literally 8 starters they can run out there. And I don't think they run the table in the Big 12, but they are almost locked into a 1 seed already, and they are a formidable team that you don't want to see them again. But I think plays there in here 10 days.
I think Baylor and Gonzaga are both great examples of roster management in 2021. Yes. I mean, Baylor's like to draw a little local comparison, a little bit like Iowa, where they had guys who were good enough to play at that level, but not good enough to leave early, and they've kind of just matured together. And then Gonzaga, like I don't think there's anybody in the country who manages a roster better than Mark Few. He's always getting a couple of stud high school guys. He's always taking a grad transfer. He's always got 3 or 4 guys who are really solid 3-4 year players. There's just experience and talent on both of those squads, and it's been Jalen Suggs right now. They got him on the TV. What a stud he is. But man, yeah, I'm with you on Baylor.
Yeah.
We can sit here and root for Scott Drew the rest of the year.
It's been a long year. I mean, this is hard. This is really difficult for everybody. And as far as the second half, what you want to see, I mean, I
want to see more Walker. James Walker.
I just want, Chris, I want to see some easy baskets. Like I know it's the analytical thing, but the long twos are just obviously it's making some of them today, which is great, but just get something more around the basket. And I would love to see George Condit just get out of this funk he's in. It's hard to watch. He keeps getting in foul trouble. They need Condit to be better than he's been. And I'm hopeful for the big man that, he's still got some time. He's a junior, but it's more than time for him to, play with some more confidence right now.
Yeah, he just keeps getting in foul trouble.
Yeah, it's just a bummer.
Every time you see more energy out of him or something, he picks up that third foul.
Right, and if Iowa State's going to make a comeback, they're going to need more rim presence. You cannot defend Mississippi State with Blackwell and Dubar in the post. And so Condit's got to play better, but I'm not anticipating that.
I mean, think about what you just said.
Right.
Like you can't. I mean, Mississippi State's the leading rebounding team in the entire SEC.
Yeah,
and we're talking about
6'4" and 6'6" out there. Yeah,
down there in the post.
You expect more than being down 16 against a 9-8 Mississippi State team, but at this point, you really don't. I mean, it just kind of the way it's going. So,
go enjoy your family, Blum. I appreciate you running down here and jumping on the stream with me.
Well, hey, let's the second half goes better, and it's almost February. We're getting closer to spring football time.
Yeah, we got a lot. Join us on the podcast tomorrow.
That's right.
And we got a lot of football conversation and to look forward to. I'm doing a one-on-one with Matt Campbell this week.
And a big one for the women tomorrow, hosting Baylor.
Huge. Yeah, what time is that? Do you know off the top of your head?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock tip. So lock it up.
National TV for that one.
How sick would it be to see Mulkey go down 2 in a row? Be great.
Yeah,
and I want to thank everybody for still tuning in too. We're still getting hundreds of you who tune in, and like I always tell people, I tell our staff this all the time. Like we're here to cover the Cyclones. Winter, like we're not going anywhere. Been through hard times before, and we're going to be here at halftime of every game, no matter what, and analyzing this stuff. And it's not any fun, but it's a lot more fun when you have, awesome fans and stuff to hang out with doing it.
Hey, if we've made it through football to get where we are now in football, you can get through a couple down basketball seasons, everybody. It's not going to last forever. Promise you that.
I hope not. That would be detrimental to my mental health.
Yeah, I will say that winters are a lot more difficult when Iowa State is winless in the Big 12.
No doubt.
And it's snowing outside.
Yeah, that's a great point. Stay safe out there, everybody, because it is getting kind of gross out. So, all right, he's Brent Blum, Matt Van Winkle, producing the program as always. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it, and have a great rest of your weekend.